start with, my name's Jack Barwell. I'm 20 years old. I'm 21 actually now, just had my birthday. I'm a third year politics student at the University of Exeter. I work part-time for an MP in North Devon, Elaine Saxby. In terms of my political views, I think I would describe them as common sense conservative views. They are not the Liz Trusses or the Jacob Rees-Moggs of the world, but they are conservative. Inherently, I believe in controlling how much we spend so that everybody keeps more of their own money. I believe in social conservatism and family values. I believe that the society is stronger when we're a community and we follow our traditional paths. I believe in a strong Britain on the world stage, and I believe in rising up wages for the working class, levelling up, regenerating our wealth so that everybody gains more from strong, common sense conservative government. In terms of lecturers, I don't think I've ever faced any direct pressure from lecturers. What we do hear a bit about, and we want to talk about freedom and academic freedom today, is that some students feel that when they write essays that end up coming to a conservative conclusion, they're less likely to score highly than when they write essays that come to a liberal conclusion. I can't personally say that any lecturer has ever attacked me for my politics, but certainly students have. To count stories simply because people know me as a conservative. I've had people refuse to talk to me. I've had people hound me out of societies. I've had people scream abuse at me down the street at 2:30 in the morning about issues that they don't even know my stance on. So definitely faced backlash. Definitely faced the fact that everybody knows who you are. I'm probably the most well-known conservative on campus. So, you definitely face the pressure of people knowing who you are, wanting to engage in you in that way. Sometimes that's good engagement. I've been out on nights out and had loads of people come over and talk to me and want to praise me, but you do get a lot of backlash as well. I think lots of them do. And it's not really a surprise. If you look at what's happened to me, and we talk about it now as we go through this discussion, the pressure that outspoken conservatives like me face, being put under investigations, being cancelled by societies, you've got to appreciate that for first year, slightly more timid freshers who maybe haven't gone through that experience before, haven't had the political background that I had that meant everybody knew their views, why would they speak up? Why would they throw themselves into that vat of lava of saying their views and then getting that pressure, that hounding, when they don't have to? And I really praise people. Sam Tough, who's in line to take over being the president of the society I'm running at the moment, is also a conservative. I praise people that want to put themselves into that position where they want to openly be the next me, because that's not an easy thing to be, because everybody knows the abuse that you're going to get. So to be honest with you, it's very difficult to be a conservative and want to raise your opinions, not because conservatives don't principally believe in them like liberals do, but because they know they're entering into attacks. Whereas liberals who speak out on their arguments are probably hounded as these great protesters, these great modernizers of the world who are going to fight for the freedoms of everyone. Actually, they're fighting for the freedoms of everyone apart from conservatives. The first instance that I have to talk about on this is my experience at Debating Society. I was part of the Debating Society and on the committee ever since October of my first year. So I got involved very early, helped in their external debates team, and then led their external debates team in the second year. Faced a tremendous amount of pressure for doing what I would call very common sense things. I wanted to run a debate about Israel-Palestine before even this recent outbreak after October the 7th happened. I wanted to run a debate on gender. I was told that we would be inviting transphobic speakers, that Nazi sympathizers even might be allowed onto campus if we tried to run a debate simply about whether people should be able to self-ID. When I ran to be president of the Debating Society on a very common sense agenda, 3 points: more membership involvement, more casual debating, more free speech. I was told that that was the ideas of a fascist, and a campaign was started up called Stop the Fascist to stop me becoming Debating Society president. They succeeded, but only just. They beat me by 77 votes to 73. And I said, if 47% of what was fundamentally a centre-left organisation wanted to vote for me, the most well-known conservative on campus, then this means that we have bridged the left-right divide, that this is no longer about left or right. This is about consensus or rebel. They're the terms I use today. You're either part of this growing group, the consensus, people that do not want change in societies, that want to keep doing things the same way, an entrenched elite at the top that will stop freedom of speech, stop membership involvement, stop any change that could progress their society so that they get the society they want rather than the members want, or rebels who are fighting back against that. I took it upon myself to lead the rebels on campus to set up my own society, Speakeasy Society, which does everything Debating Society wouldn't do. It has freedom of speech, and we invite controversial speakers and we do interesting events. It has membership involvement. The members hold us to account. We have scrutiny opportunities for our members once a term. The entirety of the committee once a month get to ask me questions about how I'm running the society as the president. And crucially, we do casual debating. We have roundtable discussions where lecturers, students, people in the city alike can come together and discuss issues in a casual environment. It doesn't have to be so tense and fierce as it is in debating societies. We can do things different and we can do things better at Speakeasy. The university and crucially the Students' Guild as well, which is a separate organisation, have made things incredibly difficult for us on campus at times. There are probably two key ways that this has happened. I mean, number one is the inherent bias that we see on show, where the universities prefer what I call consensus societies, these big, long-established societies that fund themselves with money that they never use. These societies get advantages from the Students' Guild. They get their risk assessments approved quicker. They get their risk assessments approved at shorter notice. We don't get that. We've had difficulty inviting speakers at times when the Guild haven't stood by us. Secondly, though, and crucially, it's the Students' Guild's desire to back up consensus societies when they put bogus allegations onto people. I've been investigated by the Students' Guild this year because of things that Expression claimed I had said. It was all lies. Expression is a consensus society. They tried to take us out of the market because they were worried about us. All they ended up doing was losing about a third of their members who walked out in protest at the fact that I was cancelled. That's a great sign of when the rebels unite, we're stronger than the consensus will ever be. I'm not going to entirely criticise the Guild. They did end up ruling in our favour. But I think it was ridiculous that somebody could present a bogus allegation that never had any weight to it. And for 6 weeks, I'm under investigation, impacting the ability for Speakeasy to run. Because rather than my focus being on running the society, my focus had to be on fighting an investigation and actually being allowed to continue to do my job as president of that society. That job was under threat for those 6 weeks. The Students' Guild or the Students' Union in the case of Exeter has always been out to block risk assessments. Examples of things that they used to do before the new Higher Education Act came in that made it a little better was things like 24 hours before an event, they would have not yet approved it. And then they would say, well, we'll approve it, but so long as you have security and you have to pay for the security. Now, for big consensus societies, they've probably got the money to do that. Smaller societies do not have the money to pay those security costs. That's one example. Secondly, only asking 24 hours ahead of time means that we have to find that security. And if we don't find the security, we can't put the event on. Now, they'll claim to their consensus friends or to the government that that's okay because we haven't blocked the event. We approved it. They deliberately approved it at the last minute in the hope we can't find the security and therefore the event doesn't go ahead. They're very clever, but they are also out to block free speech. And you probably find that they like Debating Society because Debating Society don't believe in free speech. That's why both their chairs have resigned on political principle during this year. But we know that free speech is important, and at Speakeasy we protect it. And the Guild, who do not want the battle about free speech on campus, who cave to the liberal consensus demands to block freedom of speech because those people at the top of societies don't feel safe if people come onto campus, those people get their way because the Guild sides with them. The great thing about Speakeasy, but also at the same time the sad thing, is that the experience that I had at Exeter with my debating society and other consensus organisations like the Guild, like the student media on campus, is a harrowingly similar situation going on at other campuses. I spoke with people that I got to know through a great organisation called Living Freedom that Claire Fox and Alistair Donald run. I spoke to Omar Lubak, a guy at Royal Holloway, and Vinay Kapoor, a guy at Warwick, about very similar situations that they had. And I said, well, this is what we're doing. We're not lying down. We're not rolling over. We're going to fight the tough fight, and we're going to take the fight to the consensus, and we're going to run our own society, get the best freshers in, and be in a position in 2 or 3 years where we're properly challenging them for membership numbers. And they said, that sounds great. How can we get involved? I said, this can become more than just an Exeter thing. Speakeasy can become a national thing. And that's what happened. It was organic. It was done by itself. We have a branch in Warwick. We have a branch in Royal Holloway, and we're running national events. We did a great event with David Gork over Christmas, and we hope to do more events as we go forward during the year. There is a real opening for a national movement of free speech loving, membership accountable, anti-consensus people around the country. And I think that we are tapping into that market, and we're only going to grow. I don't like the terms left and right. I feel they box people in. There are a lot of people who would vote for the Labour Party, identify with left-wing ideas that I, on a political level, couldn't disagree with more. But that's national politics. On a political level, on student politics, we're totally on board. Omar Lubak, who runs Speakeasy Royal Holloway, couldn't disagree with me more about who should win the next election. I fear that he's going to get his way, not me. But the point is, we're both rebels. We're both opposing the consensus. We both believe in free speech. We both believe in membership input. We both believe in running exciting debates and doing casual debating opportunities. And it matters to me, as someone involved in student, not national politics, far more where you sit on the consensus rebel scale than where you sit on the Labour conservative scale. The key battle, away from either of those two battles, is whether you're part of this consensus that's trying to run societies into the ground, block free speech, and not let the members rise up and make important change, or whether you're part of an exciting new rebel faction that is finally taking the fight to this outdated establishment.